So hello everyone. Uh, Today I'm moving forward. Vedant, am I audible? My screen is visible.
Yes, both the things are perfect.
Okay.
Both the
Uh,
things are perfect.
okay. So in my previous session, I tell about the Docker components and the things that are required for Docker. Okay. Docker is basically like a repository. So in this session, Docker is basically like a storing database. Okay, if we move like GitHub and Git, these stores the some set of files, same as it is Docker helps. But Docker, what the specialty of Docker? Docker specializes that uh, it create multiple process simultaneously. Okay, I tell you about in previous session also. So just moving forward. So the first is Docker client and server communication. So like Docker client is what is Docker client? Docker client is basically my laptop. When I run the Docker command in it, then a client is active mode and client is running. Okay, here if I move in the CMD portion, like here, just like here, and we move here and here I write just what I write just here Docker. So a client is active. Here you can see a uses Docker command option, a self-sufficient runtime for containers. So a Docker will be active. So it is called Docker client and Docker server. What is Docker server? Docker server. It basically consists of Docker daemon. When I run the Docker run command, then it will like Docker daemon will get that command and get the files okay, give me a 1 second. After that, I will start. Okay. So when I run the Docker run command on my command line, then the request goes to the Docker daemon. Like client is not a server. Okay, client is like a specific one. Like my laptop is a client where when I just write the Docker run command, then the request is goes to the Docker server, and inside the Docker server is be specific that the command goes to the Docker daemon. And after running the Docker run command, Docker daemon executes some things like if I wanted to run some particular image, then Docker run the image name. Then Docker daemon create containers or run the particular image inside the containers. So Docker daemon it basically performs some action like Docker pull. This is the the most important which I like here. If you write the Docker run command, run command, the request goes to the Docker daemon, and Docker daemon performs some action, some set of processes, and the containers are created. This arrow is as it is shown. But if I move like I run the Docker pull command, then the request goes to the Docker daemon, and after that it will go to the remote repository by like Docker pull command क्या करता है बेसिकली एक ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करता है अगर इमेज आपके लोकल कैश में एसोसिएटेड है तब हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि उस इमेज को उसी लोकल कैश से ले लेंगे ओके सो डॉकर पुल में कोई ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म नहीं होगा क्योंकि वो आपके लोकल डेटाबेस में लाइक लोकल रेपोजिटरी में पहले से एसोसिएटेड है बट अगर हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि डॉकर डॉकर डेमन चेक करेगा अगर वो इमेज आपके कैश में स्टोर नहीं है तो वो जाएगा रिमोट रेपोजिट रजिस्ट्री में दैट इज द डॉकर हब पोर्शन एंड वहां से क्या करेगा उस इमेज को पुल करके अपने लोकल डेटाबेस में स्टोर करेगा लाइक इनसाइड द कैश स्टोर करेगा सो हियर इज द basically process like it is the basically process which is executed under the hood okay so Docker pull performs the action from Docker pull to Docker server and Docker server to remote registry. Okay. Docker run commands, what basically done? Docker run commands basically run the containers. And like if I wanted to know the internal communication between Docker client, Docker server, and remote registries, then this is the basic architecture of that if I run the Docker run command, the request goes to the Docker server part, and where Docker server inside the Docker daemon. Docker daemon performs some action to the images and created the containers. Second process is Docker pull command. Like I write in my laptop just Docker pull, and the request goes to the Docker server where the in which portion of the Docker server, the portion is Docker daemon, and Docker daemon checks if the image is already present in your cache, then Docker daemon does not perform the Docker pull option because it is already inside your cache. But if the image is not present in your cache, then Docker pull request goes to the Docker daemon, and Docker daemon extract image from Docker hub portion. Okay, that is the remote registry. So here you can see the Ubuntu image. Here is the Redis image, Node.js image, and MySQL image. So this is all done here. Just move forward. So there are some key points. Like if we are talking about containers, then what is the containers? Like containers is nothing but based on images and set of files, set of processes, not set of files. Image is a set of files, and containers contains set of processes. Okay, so there are some specific point about what there are some key points, like each container has its own IP address. That is the specific point. And each container has new file system layers. These are the points like required for any execution. And each Docker has its own IP address container. Okay, each container has new file system layers. It is the very basic point that I tell you today. So each container has at least one process containing. So there's what is container contains? Container contains basically a set of processes. If a single container is there, and then there must be at least one process is running. If there's no process is running, then we can say that container must be like containers is stopped. So all these containers things, multiple process runnings are managed by Docker Angel. Okay, like Docker daemon, there is a specification of Docker Angel that performs the containers all the operations. If I running 4 commands, then the 4 commands have different IP addresses. They have different file system layers. Each container has at least one processes. Then we can say it is a container. Otherwise, it is the stopped container. Okay, multiple process running in the are managed by Docker Engine. Okay, so there we can conclude that these are the all processes which are done by Docker client, how Docker daemon is interact, Docker run, and all the things, all the stuffs. And there are some basic points about containers. What container do? Actually, what container do is nothing but a Docker container just create a writable layer on your images. Images, what is images? Images, actually, I also have slides to explain, but I tell you basic thing that images is just a set of files. Okay. So we moving forward. So there are some commands, and these commands are basically divided into commands and management. So just a brief lookup. If I want to tell you like short description of that, just here you can come and just write doc. Okay, Docker PS. So here you can see images. There is no current. Actually, this is a basic command to check how many containers are running. So Docker PS will return nothing. So it means that there is no processes running. So if I write Docker container ls, so here you can see like it is an equivalent command of Docker PS. If I want to know the Docker commands, just I write Docker here. So if you move here, a self-sufficient runtime for containers. Common commands of Docker is run, exe, ps. This is the command which I have run here. So Docker ps, what it is done, like Docker ps is just list containers that are running. Okay. Docker build is basically build an image. Like Docker build is just help us to creating a custom images. Okay. Docker pull Docker pull, I tell you that it download an image from registry. If image is already present in your computer, then there is no need, there is no perform, computer doesn't perform any operation of Docker pull. Okay, so push, upload an image to registry. This is all the commands which we have run here. Some when we go to the history part, the the programmers are not divided these commands into two separate sections, but after some time the developers are think that common commands which we use frequently, we have segregated, and some management commands are there. So sometimes you see that some management commands also have a sub commands. If you want to see, then I tell you here, I write it here. Docker, firstly, what we got? Let's like build, okay, and just write help here. So here you can see options. These are we write it as add, allow, string, annotation, string, array. So building an string. So these are file string, all the things like basic commands. If I write just docker ps here and just write help. So here you can see what it did. Firstly, what is done? Docker ls list containers. So it will give a brief description that what the Docker ps command do. Okay. So Docker container Docker container list. I tell you that basically it lists all the running containers. Okay. JSON, all the things and all the steps. Okay. So if I want to particular like Docker container and just help. So here you can see these are the sub commands. Okay, give me a second. So here you can see management commands. Okay, so the I take it here as a container. Okay, so these management commands also have sub commands. Like here I have, if I run that Docker container, so commands like attach, commit, create, def, exe, export, inspect, kill, all the things are here. Okay. So here is a special command called prune command. Remove all stopped containers. Okay. I will tell you about this in next slide. But here you can see management commands also have sub commands. These are the list of sub commands. Okay, just if I write Docker container and here write wait less help. So block until one or more container stops. So it gives the description what the Docker container wait command do. Block until one or more containers stop, then print their exit codes. Okay. So block until one or more containers stop, then print their executes. Okay. So what basically it do? It explains that if I write here like run. So what is do? Basically a Docker run create and run a new container from my image. So it gives a basically description about like which command is running and what the thing it is done. Okay. So with the help of this, you can get the commands description and all the things which I want to. So firstly, we just write a Docker, then we get that list of the commands like common commands, management commands, and some commands like attach, commit, all the things. I tell you that some management commands also have a parts, containers. If I write the Docker container, then management commands also have sub commands. Then I run here actually give me a second. I think it is clear from this. Like here, if you write the Docker container and just write help, so it will do the subcommands list. If I want to know what is the subcommand particularly do, then I write just I take wait command. So basically it gives us, this is the description of wait command, what wait command do. So basically you get to know like how many commands is there. You explore this, okay? By your own, explore all these things. कि कितने कमांड्स होते हैं, कितने पर्टिकुलरली एग्जीक्यूट होते हैं, मैनेजमेंट कमांड्स होते हैं, उनके भी सब कमांड्स होते हैं, उनका ब्रीफ डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या है, सब कुछ इसमें मेंशन होगा, ओके? ऑल द थिंग्स आर मेंशन्ड हियर. So next slide, like I am where I am here, okay? So these are the command listed here. Actually, this is an image representation, but I previously tell you that you also explore the commands using Docker particular management command, and wanted to know the particular sub commands of that management command. Then you use Docker and management command and dash dash, and you can explore what is the action, what all the things. So till here we can complete the Docker client and communication part, how the Docker communicates and where like Docker run request to goes, and what is the some key points about the containers, has its own IP address, new file system layers, has at least one process, and all the things, how Docker commands are running, and what is the thing which I want to tell you that all the things are here. Okay, so just we move forward. So Docker management commands also have sub commands like I tell you ना कि कुछ सब कमांड्स भी होते हैं, डॉकर मैनेजमेंट के भी सब कुछ सब कमांड्स थे जो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया. सो हेयर जस्ट मैंने एक्सप्लेन भी किया, डॉकर कंटेनर वेट हेल्प अगर हम लोग राइट करेंगे तो हमको उसका ब्रीफ डिस्क्रिप्शन मिल जाएगा. अगर हमको किसी भी मैनेजमेंट कमांड का ब्रीफ डिस्क्रिप्शन जानना है कि वो पर्टिकुलर कमांड क्या करता है, बाय द इंस्टेंस वी कैन मूव लाइक in a particular instance, if we like the command which I remembered, we forget it. Then we use these commands to get to know what is the correct output of this, like Docker container wait, what it does. It basically block until one or more container stops. The action is showing here. So these are all the things. So if we write, if we wanted to know like what is the rm command do, just here go inside. Actually, this is not here. Here we just write docker container. That is the management command. That is the sub commands of management command. If you wanted to know the description, just write here. So here you can see what the remove one or more containers. So if we want to remove a particular container or the set of container, then we use the docker container rm command. Okay. So docker container rm remove the commands, remove anonymous volumes associated with the container. All the things here are mentioned. So if there is also a like dash f dash v dash l dash f, if we want to like complete description, then double dash force the removal of all running containers by sign kill. Okay, seeking kill बोलते हैं बस basically इसको. So if we want to like forcefully destroy all the containers, just I use the double slash force command. Okay, it gives the brief description about, like not brief description, it perform the action. If like if particularly we want to know like Docker, just use the arrow command here rf and just write f, then enter. So here you can see Docker container removes and all the things. So here all the things are mentioned, like you get to know the brief description of that. So there is the Docker management also have some commands and all the things are here mentioned. So if we move forward, like, so alternative commands. So there are some alternative commands. So till here, if you have any problem, then tell me. Guys, if you have any problem. Okay. So I think there's no problem. Like I explained all the things well. So give me here. I will start the alternative commands. I will cover it like I covered all the points about communication between client, server, remote repository. Like doc, if I run the Docker run, all the things I tell you previously how the perform action. So I tell you about the specific points of like how each container has its own IP address, all the things, at least one command, then we can say all the how we can get to know how many commands are running, how many commands are there. If we want to know particular description of the command, then we use like here command line. I explained all the things. So then we move forward here. So there are some alternative commands like Docker has the management commands and also have the sub commands of management command. So the combination of all this will be replaced by a single runnable command, that is Docker PS. If here you can see Docker container ls, it is equivalent to Docker PS. Like both perform same action. If you want like description of that, just I write it here. Docker PS. Here you can see the list, with the help of this command. Uh, if you are here, give me a second. Where I explained. Yes. So here you can see Docker container. Just I run the command Docker container help. So this command gives the all the description about sub commands. So here you can see the sub command is ls, list containers. Okay, so if here I write Docker container ls. So here you can see the list of containers. So it will be equivalent to Docker PS. So the thing is done. एंड ऑल्सो आई एक्सप्लेन, मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन कर दिया कि जो मैनेजमेंट कमांड्स होती है उनकी कुछ सब कमांड्स होती है, वो उनका मिला करके हम लोग कुछ इक्विवेलेंट कमांड्स को रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं. लाइक डॉकर पीएस विल बी इक्विवेलेंट टू डॉकर कंटेनर एलएस. समटाइम्स डॉकर कंटेनर एलएस विल बी टेक मच टाइम टू राइट, but docker ps don't take much time to write. Okay, so this is the small thing that if you remember the some special commands, like if you write just docker, here you can see some common commands. Okay, so if you get all the things run ps is there, so you will be understand easily what how the actions are performed. So just move in the next slide. So like docker ps, what done, it lists all the containers. What is docker build command do? Docker build command is nothing but basically okay, so I tell you here, Docker build command is just used to create a custom images. Like if I want to create a particular image, what is image? A set of files. If I want to create a particular image, then custom image within my laptop, then I use the Docker build command. Like if this time I forgotten this command and just I use the Docker container, not container, like Docker build and dash help. So here you can clearly see start a build. So this command gives the description about the commands. So if you forgot some commands, then use this command to get to know what is the performance of this. So Docker build is basically used to create a custom images. Docker inspect is used to check the content inside the container. Docker commit is basically perform like create an image based on a particular container. So Docker build is used to create a particular image, and commit is basically used to create a particular image based on a container. So Docker command run command starts a basically container. Okay. So these are the alternative commands. These are much bigger commands, and if you all replace by this, ये कुछ सॉल्टर कमांड्स हैं जो कि इन कमांड्स का ऑपरेशन को परफॉर्म करती हैं. So here are the some commands like docker run. These are the small commands like short command. Docker run basically starts the computer. Docker stop basically stops the computer. Stops the container. Sorry, not computer. So it basically stops the container. What docker kill? If you listen my words clearly, then there is two commands which is similar, docker stop and docker kill. What is the operation of what is the difference between these two commands? I tell you that ये दोनों कमांड्स एक ही जैसे परफॉर्म करते हैं, बट डॉकर स्टॉप क्या करता है कि जब फाइल ज्यादा बड़ी होती है या डॉकर कंटेनर को स्टॉप करने के लिए सबसे पहले हमको डॉकर स्टॉप कमांड ज्यादा टाइम कंज्यूम करती है, बट डॉकर किल कमांड कम टाइम कंज्यूम करती है. द नेक्स्ट कमांड इज डॉकर rm. So if you want, like I previously tell that what is the kill. Okay, if you remember the SIGKILL, the seek kill operation is done. So if you want, then explore it. What is Docker kill? I explain it also in previous slide. So in previous slide, so what is Docker RM command do? So like I start a container using Docker run. After that, I want to remove this container, then I can't remove it. Okay. अगर मुझे रिमूव करना है कंटेनर को तो सबसे पहले मुझे स्टॉप करना होगा. सो फर्स्टली इफ द कंटेनर इज इन रनिंग पोर्शन, देन आई यूज द डॉकर स्टॉप कमांड, देन आई use the docker rm to remove a container. What docker ps is do? Ps, I tell you that it lists all the containers which are running, and if I want to I want to know also about the stopped containers, then I use the docker ps/a. So these are the some container commands. If we move like images commands, so here you can see docker pull, download an image from the registry portion. If you are with me, then you can see there docker pull is also there. It goes request to the docker daemon search. If the image already present in your cache, then it doesn't perform any action. If not present, then it will go to the remote repository, and after that it will perform action. Okay. So okay, just move it here. So Docker images, what is the list of Docker? If I write these are the most frequent use commands. If you remember these small things, like then you are a cakewalk for you. Docker is a cakewalk for you. So Docker images list downloaded images, Docker RMI remove images, Docker build dot. I tell you that it is used to create a custom images. So create a custom new images. Also dot is included there. So a special command Docker print containers like Docker container prune. What is does? Like this time, if firstly, okay, I am here. Okay, so just write Docker ps/a stopped container. So here you can see hello world/hello. These two containers are stopped containers, not running, but are stopped containers. So if I want to remove I want to remove it completely from my device. I want to delete all the things. If you want to write, you use the rm command and all things, you go with the particular. Okay. But if I write the container only and just use the prune, so there, this will remove all stopped containers. If I want to click yes. So here you can see delete containers and some things reclaimed space as 0 byte, because these are not containing any bytes, but like deleted containers are there. Okay, so if I want to know how many images are present in my laptop, in my deck, like client, so images, right? So here is one image only present, that is the 13.3 KB size. So like अगर मुझे इसको क्या करना है, डिलीट करना है, तो just use a image prune command. So this will remove all dangling images. So this time what is dangling images? A new concept is here. So I tell you about this. Firstly, I removed it. So reclaimed the space is this. And is this time you write the images? So give me a second. Something I missed out. Give me a second. So here, if the command like Docker image, all the things deleted container, Docker image prune, this will remove all dangling images. So firstly, here, give me a second. Why this not perform any action? Because there are many like command lines are there. So just I stopped all the simultaneous processes. Then I use CMD firstly, open here, and then I perform the action. I think it will do whatever I want. Firstly, I write images. Okay, give me a second. I think my laptop is hang. Okay, just images. So here you can see one image is running. If I want to remove this, just use so why. If okay, so I doesn't understand why it is in my repository. So Docker ps/a. So their container is deleted here from here. Just like I this time I doesn't know my command is correct or not. Just I write help here. So Docker removed unused images. I think I am in right direction. Do not from the remove all unused images, just not just dangling ones. Okay. So if I want to remove, then I just use a /a command. So just you write here. So here you can understand, like I missed the I doesn't remember what is the correct command. So I just use the help, like Docker image prune help. So here /a remove all unused images, not just the dangling ones. This time a question arises in your mind, what is the dangling images? So I tell you, dangling images are the images without tags. Such images may appear in your local cache when images are corresponding tags are deleted in your Docker app. So like this image I downloaded recently, so it is also present in your Docker hub. It is also present in my local repository. So this image is not called a Docker dangling images. But if the image is not present in your Docker, like in the Docker hub repository, like in a remote repository, and if this image is present in my laptop, then this is called the dangling image. अगर वो Docker image dangling like Docker hub में available नहीं है और मेरे लैपटॉप में अवेलेबल है इन माई लोकल कैशे, दिस image is available, then it is called a dangling images. But why this action is not performed? Because uh, like if you are here, if I run the command, so this will remove all dangling images. अरे ये डैंगलिंग इमेज थी ही नहीं, इसलिए ये रिमूव नहीं कर पाई. सो अगर हमको सारी इमेजेस को रिमूव करना है, तो हम लोग एक कमांड का और यूज करेंगे /a. सो ये क्या करेगा, ये सारी इमेजेस को रिमूव कर देगा. अब एक क्वेश्चन और अराइज होता है कि ये डिलीटेड में दो SHA 256 क्यों आए. मैं बताता हूँ. अगर ये दो SHA 256 आए, इसका मतलब ये है कि इसमें दो फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स थी. ओके. So it will contain like not yes, yeah, it will contain some file system layers. So there is two file system layers particularly. So I just move forward. If you have any doubt till this time, then feel free to ask. Guys, any doubt? Okay, I think all
No,
things
no,
are
no
clear.
doubt. You can continue.
What?
You can continue, no doubts.
Okay, okay. So here I concluded all the things. So just what is pulling images from the Docker? Okay. So if here you can see, give me a second, and we are here. So Docker pull, like here you can like if I list that here is no images are present. So Docker images is basically list. So there is no container, there is no image. If I want to like import image, just use the Docker like hello world only. I know that this image is present in Docker Hub. So using a default tag, all the things, if I search it here, Docker Hub. So here you can see if I search hello world, actually not hello world, it's world. So there's a specific command hello world. So just pull, like these are the pull operations. If I want to like Docker official image, hello world is an official image. So if you click on this, so Docker pull hello world, I actually these the same command I will run here. So this command is imported on my laptop. If I check the images, then there is one images hello world is present there. Okay. So these are the basic things. Docker repository, like Docker repository. What is Docker repository? It is basically a set of images with versions. So Docker image has some key points, like each Docker image you doesn't have allowed to write inside, like in two to modify your image. Okay, so if you want to modify, then you create a container like every image consists of multiple file system layers. हर इमेज के पास कुछ फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स होते हैं. अगर मान लो मेरे एक फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स में मेरा पीएचपी पड़ा हुआ है, मेरी एक इमेज में मेरा पीएचपी इंस्टॉल है और सम अदर प्रोसेसेस भी हैं वहां पे, तो क्या करेगा कि वो जो इमेज होगी वो पर्टिकुलरली फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स में डिवाइड हो जाएगी और पर्टिकुलर लेयर में समथिंग आ जाएगा. पर्टिकुलर लेयर में पीएचपी चला गया, पर्टिकुलर लेयर में कुछ कमांड्स आ गए. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स. हम लोग इनसाइड इमेज कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन नहीं कर सकते. हम लोग इसको क्या कर सकते हैं, कॉपी कर सकते हैं और उस पर परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं एक्शन, बट हम लोग इमेज को वो नहीं कर सकते, इमेज को मॉडिफाई नहीं कर सकते. सो डॉकर रिपोजिटरी इज सम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन आई डन इट. ओके, एवरी इमेज इज जस्ट अ सेट ऑफ फाइल्स. Here you can see images are read-only, multiple files, layers. Image can be stored in a private public repository, could be copied, moved. There are some official images. Actually, one of the images which I have done, perform the pull operation, it is the public image. Sorry, what I can say, it is the official image. If here you can see a Docker official image. Some images are not official. That's not. So here you can see that a particular image is come from Docker Hub, and this image is come from Docker Hub to my basic local repository, like local cache, with the help of Docker daemon. Okay, so this will come. Okay, so here you can perform the action, and if I move further in my slides. So I explained what is all the things, what all the images is just a set of files. Images is nothing but just a set of files over there. Okay. So just moving forward. So some commands perform here I perform the some commands. But why container? Like if I want to run this image and I want to create a particular container, just I write the docker run and hello WORLD. So here you can see some amount of text, hello from Docker. This image shows your installation appears working correctly. To generate this image, Docker took step, Docker client connected to the Docker daemon. If you are with me from first slide, then the architecture with the Docker daemon, Docker client is connected to the Docker daemon. I explained it also. Docker daemon pulled hello world from the Docker hub because it is not present in my cache. Docker daemon created new container and all the things is done. So here you form the basically text. So the question arises, why container has printed this text and why container has existed, exit from there. Okay. So these are the question which come in your mind. So this time if I run the command ps/a, so here you can see a hello world command is actually the container is created and just stop after that because there is no process running inside it. Okay, so the here you can see I stopped container. So I will tell you what this all the things why container is printed this message and why container has exited from there. So basically, if particularly uh, here, if I want to know the complete details, I get firstly I write the Docker image. So here particular image ID is mentioned. So just I want to know because it is the container, like it is a stopped container. I tell you that if you want to know the information inside the container, you use the Docker inspect command. So inspect and I doesn't remember that it is the container ID mention or check. I will check here. So it is the container ID. If you paste it here and you go with the CMD portion, so hello is mentioned there. So a particular hello container is performed, and after that it will stop because there is no process running inside it. So all the things here I mentioned. Why it is deleted after some time? Like I run some commands it here, but Okay, so just move it here. So here you can see a command like hello is performed. Like if you run the Docker run and all the text it is printed here. After that, a command is performed internally, that is the slash hello. After performing of this command, a Docker container is created and there is no process inside it. That why it is stopped and all the descriptions are there. Like a particular file, hello file is executed because it is inbuilt. Okay. So all the things here I explained what are the things related to images. So if you want to know like images, example like this is the particular image. Okay. So this is a base image, that is a one-to-one, that is the W, that is the WordPress, and after that CMD. So these are some three file system layers. I tell you that consist of multiple file system layers. There is three file system layers. If a particular image want to use these file system layers a second image, then that it will use a particular set. Like if I want to use the WordPress, then there is existence of a PHP executable file. So if I want to execute like WordPress, then it will take a PHP executable file from any other images file system layers. Okay, the command show this how executes inside the container. Docker inspect and this thing format the image, usually using CMD instruction. Docker start a specific process inside the container. So what is the CMD instruction inside previous one? That is the slash hello. So this time we move that what is Docker container. So Docker container what does? So मैं आपको बताता हूँ what is Docker container करता क्या basically. So if a particular like हमारे पास एक डॉकर इमेज है. डॉकर इमेज का मतलब क्या है? सेट ऑफ फाइल्स है हमारे पास, सेट ऑफ फाइल्स है. अब वो सेट ऑफ फाइल्स कैसे एसोसिएटेड है? मल्टीपल फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स में वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. अगर हमको क्या करना है, लाइक दिस इज द आवर सिस्टम एंड ये क्या है? हमारा एक डॉकर होस्ट है. ये सब तो मैंने पहले ही बता दिया. सम इमेजेस क्या है? ये फाइल सिस्टम लेयर 2, फाइल सिस्टम लेयर 1. इसमें क्या है? कुछ कुछ पोर्शंस कवर्ड है. ओके. अगर मैं क्या करता हूँ कि इसको कंटेनर बनाता हूँ, like if I run docker run command, then after that what action will be? Firstly docker container क्यों यूज करना है? क्योंकि वो एक राइटेबल लेयर बनाएगा. हमको लाइक इमेजेस में हमको कुछ ही चीज लेनी है, उसके बाद हमको उसके ऊपर वर्क करना है. लाइक हेलो वर्ल्ड हमारा पर्पस नहीं है, हमें उसके आगे एक्शंस परफॉर्म करने हैं. तो हम क्या करेंगे? प्रीवियसली अगर कोई एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है तो उसको ले लेंगे और उसके साथ एक राइटेबल लेयर जोड़ देंगे. हियर यू कैन सी अ थिन राइटेबल लेयर. बट जो थिन राइटेबल लेयर होती है ये सारे फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स के साथ परफॉर्म होती है. इमेज लेयर तो सिर्फ रीड ऑनली होती है, उनमें हम लोग मॉडिफाई कर नहीं सकते. तो हमको एक चाहिए होगा कंटेनर, जिसमें क्या होगा? जो एक थिन राइटेबल लेयर परफॉर्म करेगा उसके ऊपर हम लोग एक्शंस परफॉर्म करेंगे. सो हेयर लाइक if I run the docker run, then our container writable layer is also inside the disk. Like अगर हमने इमेज पुल करा है तो वो क्या होगा? कैशे में होगा, डिस्क में. बट उसके अलावा एक कंटेनर राइटेबल लेयर का भी कंटेंट आ जाएगा जो कि यहाँ से होगा. लेकिन अगर हमारी कोई प्रोसेस करंटली रन नहीं हो रही है तो कंटेनर तो एग्जिट हो जाएगा, लेकिन उसका जो है राइटेबल लेयर डिस्क में एसोसिएट हो जाएगा और कुछ स्पेस एसोसिएट कर लेगा जो कि रिमूव नहीं होगा. सो इसी तरीके अगर हम दूसरा कंटेनर रन करते हैं तब भी यही सेम होगा. सो टिल हेयर आई एक्सप्लेन ऑल द थिंग्स. इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट then feel free to ask, and if you have any doubt then also comment it in the YouTube portion so that I get to know what is your doubt. So I come if I conclude my session from first, I explain all the things कैसे docker client, docker server और remote repository आपस में communicate करते हैं. What is docker daemon? Basically it is used to communicate. And just here there are some specific points about containers. What container do? If you tell me in a one word, it create a writable layer in the images. So and it consists all the process running. docker commands क्या होती हैं, कैसे होती हैं? अगर कोई कमांड भूल जाए तो हम लोग कैसे गेट करेंगे वो इस हेल्प से देखेंगे. डॉकर मैनेजमेंट कमांड्स के पास कुछ सब कमांड्स भी होती हैं, वो भी मैंने एक्सप्लेन करी. अल्टरनेटिव कुछ कमांड्स होती है जो कि ज्यादा रनेबल होती हैं, जो कि हम लोग मैनेजमेंट कमांड्स ज्यादा याद नहीं रख सकते, तो हम लोग ये डॉकर कमांड्स का यूज करते हैं जो कि सिंपली होती हैं. कुछ कंटेनर कमांड्स होते हैं, मैंने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया व्हाट इज ps एंड लिस्ट द कंटेनर, बिल्ड कस्टम इमेजेस, इंस्पेक्ट द इनसाइड द कंटेनर्स। कमिट क्या होता है? कमिट बेसिकली क्या करता है, एक इमेज बनाता है जो कि बेस्ड होती है कंटेनर पे। रन क्या होता है? रन बेसिकली रन करता है। स्पेशल कमांड्स लाइक डॉकर प्रून क्या करता है? सारे कमांड्स को डिलीट करता है। लाइक डॉकर इमेज प्रून से सिर्फ क्या होते हैं कि जो डैंगलिंग इमेजेस होती हैं वो क्या होती हैं कि डिलीट होती हैं। अगर मुझे सारी करनी है तो स्लैश ए का यूज करेंगे। व्हाट इज डैंगलिंग इमेजेस? ऑल द थिंग्स लाइक मैंने आपको बताया कि डॉकर इमेज अगर डॉकर हब में भी प्रेजेंट है, लोकल रिपोजिटरी में प्रेजेंट है, तो वो डैंगलिंग इमेज नहीं है। अगर वो डॉकर हब में प्रेजेंट नहीं है तो उसको क्या कहेंगे हम लोग? डैगलिंग इमेज कहेंगे। इमेज क्या होती है? रीड ओनली फाइल्स होती है, मल्टीपल फाइल सिस्टम लेयर्स होती हैं, और ये सब कॉपी किया जा सकता है बट उनको मॉडिफाई नहीं किया सकता। अगर हम लोग डॉकर रन कमांड एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे तो क्या होगा कि प्रोसेस बनेगा और एग्जिट हो जाएगा, बट उसका राइटेबल लेयर इधर एसोसिएट होगा, जो मैंने यहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन किया। इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट टिल दिस पोर्शन देन यू फील फ्री टू आस्क। Guys, any doubt?
No doubt, Rudra.
I think this is a smooth lecture. No doubt.
No doubt, no doubt.
Okay, that's not my concern. So just I take it over to my friend Keshav to continue from here.
So, Rudraj, give me clarity whether my voice is audible and screen is clear.
Yes, both are good.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Today I'm starting the seventh presentation related to Node.js, and the topic which is currently going on is JavaScript. So, in previous presentation, I have covered the basics of JavaScript, and this is my seventh presentation by me, Keshavasti. So, topics which I will cover today are the first is a recap of previous presentation in 5 to 7 minutes I will cover, and next is the JavaScript basics part 2. I will re- I will just do a fast recap of previous presentation. So this is my previous presentation. So in my previous presentation, I have covered. Wait a minute. Hmm. In my presentation 6, I have covered the JavaScript basic part 2. So these are the topics that I have covered in my previous presentations. JavaScript, JavaScript basic part, functions, what are normal functions, what are self-called functions, what are pattern functions, what are callback functions, and what are recursive functions. So I have covered all the important examples related to these all types of functions. Like you can see how these are the names of the functions. These are the best examples. You can see how the normal functions look like without parameter. This is the how the normal functions look like with parameters. Three examples I have covered in my previous presentation. This is self-called function. Another name of self-called function is immediately invoked function expression. So these are the two examples related to self-called function I have covered. And this is the other two examples related to self-called function. The another way to represent the normal function is fat arrow function. This is how I have shown how the normal functions look like and how I can convert this normal function in the another form which is a fat arrow function. So this is a very easy way how you can write the normal function in the form of fat arrow function. So these are the examples you can see with parameters and without parameters. Next is the callback function, which are very important type of function while studying the concept of backend or moving towards the journey towards backend. These are very important how callback functions are working. This example I have covered various examples. I think five examples I've covered. Four examples I've in a previous presentation. Now next at the last I have covered what are recursive function. So when the function call itself with the same function, then that approach is called recursive function approach. So this much I have covered in my previous presentation or presentation number 6. So I have covered this recap portion. Now next is Java basics. I think part 3 I will make it correct while providing you the PPT of this of today's presentation. I think here I have to write 03. So next is, so firstly I will cover what are strings in Java. So because strings are very practical topic, so I have written some code. I will include the slides in I will include all the related slide related to the strings when I will provide you with the slide of today's presentation. But right now, you have to cope up with me with the code. So these are the important things you need to remember while learning the strings. So now first is my screen is visible, Rudransh?
Yes, it is
Hello.
visible.
Okay. Okay. So what are strings in JavaScript? So strings are those uh, like if I have to tell you like there is a name. Name is a collection of letters. It is not a collection of any single letter or a single letter. It is a combination of letters. So anything which is a combination of letters that we can represent in the form of a string. So here is the definition. A string in JavaScript is a sequence of characters used to represent any text. So ways to write the string is, so there are two ways basically how you can encode a particular text in the form of a string. The first way is like, let's say I have declared one variable, let str1 is my name, let's say KESHAV. So with the double quotes, you can write the string literal in a string variable, which is a str1. And another way is like str2 in single, what I have to say, single commas on what single upper commas, aka SHAV. So this is the way inside which how you can write the strings. So next, the third point is important method, which we will see further. And the last point is string is basically a zero-based indexing, which means, let's say if I have write this, let name is KESHAV. So this whole name Keshav is depicted as a zero-based indexing in the form of zero-based indexing internally, like this. KESHAV, like this. First character of your string is from zeroth index, and next character is from 1th index, and similarly like 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is how internally we can get the each letter uniquely. We can get the each letter with the help of indexing. This is how we can get. So later on I will discuss this how this will implement. So these are the important functions which need to be learned in the from the topic is strings. So in the line number 13, you can see what we will learn today. We will learn the functions like length, index of function, last index of slice, substring, replace, split, trim, to uppercase, to lowercase, etc. And the last is to string. So first is the length function. So from line 20 to line 24, here you can see I have written one function whose name is getLength. And in getLength function in line number 24, I am passing one string which is a hello world. So when this hello world will pass to this uh, formal parameters which is str, and if I will print this, when I will execute line number 21, the output of which I will get is normal hello world. And when this line will execute firstly, wait a second. So today I want to introduce you all online compiler of JavaScript. So this is a very normal online compiler. You can easily go through the Google and write online compiler JavaScript. Here you can see this is the online compiler which you can get. So right now, if I will show you, I will just copy this and I will paste here. Now here you can see when I am passed this in the sixth line, you can see I have passed hello world, and this hello world is passed to str. And when third line will execute, I will get like this. Original string is hello world. It is directly printing the uh, what the string I have passed into it. And in fourth line, when fourth line will execute, this function str dot length. What dot length function will do? It will just calculate how many letters are there in the pass string which I have just passed inside the function. The dot length function is just calculating the length. Like hello world is consisting of how many length? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is the functioning of length function. Now next is index of function. So, the working of index of function is to, when firstly I will run this. So let's say I have passed inside, I have created one function whose name is find index of, and inside the find index of function in seventh line, I am passing the first parameter is hello world, which is a string, and another parameter is also a string, which is a target value whose index value means whose index numbers I want to get. So these two are passed to str and target, and I have printed this original string is str, and next is in fifth line, I have return index, then the str dot index of then target. So what is the working of index of function? It will search the first index of the letter of the target string. Means as the targeted string is word, so it will find where the w keyword is there. Wait a minute. Where the first letter to last letter word will be starred in the original string and gives us the first index out of it. So here you can see in my original string, hello world is from here to here. And if I will write, the H is in zeroth index, E is in one, LL is in 2, 3, 4, 5, and then W is in sixth index. So it will return me the index of the particular word for which I am searching for. So this is the working of index of function. Next function is last. Similarly, like index of function, it will give me the first index of the particular targeted value from the start. In the similar way, last index of gives me the last encountered targeted value of the past target inside that function. So I don't think so. I need to tell this. Now, next important function is slice function. Next important function is slice function. So what this slice function is doing? So slice means getting something out of it. Means the original real mean. If I will provide you real word example, like slice means any piece of part from the original body. Like this is the real meaning of what the slice means. Any piece. So let's say here in the context of strings, get slice dot slice function gives me the part of the string which I want for my program. Like let's say in sixth line I created one function which is get slice, and in this function I passed one string and another are the two numbers. First one is 0 and another one is 5, and I am passing inside this get slice function. And in the fourth line, you can see str dot slice. I passed this start value, which is 0, and end is 5. So so in this hello world example, it will give me the part of the string from 0th index to the one index before the fifth index. Let's say if I will provide you this example, like HTML hello, HTML hello, and then you are ending. This is, let's say, this is how the working is, internal working of strings. 1 and then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9. So when I am passing the 0th and 5, so it will cut the string from the original string up to this 0 to 4th index. One index previous to the past index. Like here it is, if it is 5, then it will cut up to 4th index. And if there is, let's say here the value is up, let's say here if the value is n, then it will cut the string up to n minus 1 index. So answer will be in this case like hello. I think hello will be the answer. Wait a minute, I have to comment this out first. Yes, you can see the output I am getting is hello. So this is the working of how slice function is working. Now next is substring. So substring function. I have created one again one function related to strings, which is which for understanding the concept of substring function, which is get substring. In the get substring function, I am passing one string which is hello world again, and with the indexes 0 and 5. So this will also give me the part of the string, but there is a difference between the substring and slice function. I will tell you afterwards. Firstly, you firstly please see the output, then I will run this code. So in this case also you are getting the output which is hello. So how these are how they how that so what is really the difference between the slice function and substring function? So in slice function, when firstly understand what is substring function. In substring function, I have passed one value which is zeroth index. So it will uh, go to zeroth index which and the letter which is assigned to zeroth index is H in my case, and it will move up to fifth steps forward. Like this, including H, it will go to fifth index, total 5 letters forward, like HELLO. So that's why it is printing hello. It is not it here. The value 5 represents the steps, not the terminating index value. But in the case of slice, the second index which I am passing is the end index up to which we I have to print the answer. Let's say if I will similarly, if I will paste here the slice function also like this. Now if I will write like this one, and here I will write one. And now if I will run this, here you can see. Wait a minute, this is same. Um, let's say 3 and here you can see. So when I am passing 3 comma 5 inside the get slice function, so it will what it will do, it will just move to third index which is L, and move up to the fifth index, but one step back, like LO. It will go up to LO. So that's why it is printing while using the slice function. The result which is came out, which is it is LO, L and O. But when in the similar case, when I am passing this for the same string which is hello world 2 and 3, but the working function is substring. So what it will do? It will move to the second index, and it will include up to uh, wait a minute. Substring. uh, hmm, yes. It will move up to the third index. Like why it is giving me the same? Wait a minute. Function I am passing these values E, L, and O.
Keshav, I have a doubt.
What word?
Just I declare a string and then I use the index
Hmm.
of function directly, then it will return an index or not.
Hmm. Wait, what? Can you please repeat?
Like in other programming languages, I just declare a string. Okay. And then I use this
Yes.
method of this, like
Then you have what?
index of method.
Hmm.
Then it will perform or not.
Index of method. You have just provided with one. Can you please elaborate further? I am not understanding what you are saying.
Like if you declare a
You
variable
are
in
saying,
Office, yes.
tell me, I will write here.
Like a variable in which you have inputted a string. Yes.
First of all, your audio is not clear. It is not properly coming.
Yes. This time, am I audible correctly? Hello.
Your glitching is there.
Okay. Okay, you can continue. This time, correct or not? Actually, here my net connection is unstable now.
After 5 to 7 minutes, after 5 to 7 minutes, you can try. Right now, your voice is not
Okay, at the end,
properly coming.
you can continue. I ask this at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You can ask this at the end of the presentation.
Okay, continue.
Right. Okay. Right now, I am leaving this substring function because right now I am suffering with one doubt. When I will myself clear with that doubt, then I will again include this substring function. So next is a replace function. So what this replace function is do? Let's say here is the main string is hello world, and inside the hello world, if you want to change the word, this particular word with the another word, which is, let's say in my case is JavaScript. So in this case you can use this replace function. So here from 55th line to 59th line, I have passed three strings. First one is moves to str, and second one moves to target, and another one is moves to replacement. So original string, when I will execute the 56th line, the original string will be hello world. But when the 57th line will execute, the replace function will replace this word to the new word, which is a JavaScript. So the final output which we will get when 57th line will execute will be after replace hello JavaScript will be printed on the screen. Now next is the split function from 61st line to 66th line. So split function is basically splits wait a minute. Basically splits the uh, given strings with the passed separator. The separator can be comma also, space also, and another thing is also matlab another parameter also like comma, asterisk like this. So when I will use this like here, when I will run this code. So one more important thing is when we will use the split function, in return we will get the original answer of a split function in the form of array. So this thing you must have to remember. Like here I passed this string value and separator is a space. So in str hello world will be moved and in space is moved to separator. And inside the split function I have str.split, I have passed this separator, which is actually a space. So in the whole string, wherever during the traversal, the space will the wherever there will be a space, from that space to the uh, starting index character, it will generate a one value, and that value it will include in the form of array, and in the final when the this line will be executed, we will get the final array out of it. So this is how the actual working of split function is there. So here you can see this is the output you will get. Hello word is converted in the form of the array with zeroth index considered the first word, which is hello, and in one index we will get the second word, which is word, WRLD. Now next is trim. Trim function is wait a minute. Controls. So trim function is basically just I think trim function will remove all the extra spaces from left and right side of the left and right side of the string, parsed string. Let's say if there are more spaces here, and when I will run this code, wait a minute. Hmm. So here you can see the parsed string is having the more spaces, but getting only have the not having the extra spaces. It will remove all the extra spaces or out of it from the original string. So this is the working of trim function. Now next is two uppercase, two lowercase. So these are the two very basic functions of a string. the uppercase will just converted the all letters of the past string to the uppercase. Like small e will convert it into capital E and small l to capital L like this. And similarly, the lowercase will convert all the wait a minute. All the letters of the original string in the lowercase. Like capital H will be converted into small h and small will be already in small case, so it will not convert it. It will be there in small case. Now next is wait a minute. Next is two string function. So two string function is basically convert the past parameter value in the string data type. Like here from in 19th line you can see one variable which is num, which is having the value 1 2 3 in the form of number. So, and in 91st line, when I will execute this num dot to string function with to string function, in return I will get. So I am discussing the function which is toString function. So in toString function, the working of toString function is just to convert the given parameter value in the form of string data type. Like here in 90th line, you can see there is one variable which is num, which is holding the value 1 2 3, but the data type of this variable is a number type. But when I will use this function with this num, like num dot to string, then we will get the same output, which is 1 2 3, but that the data type of that output is in the form of string. The data type is of that output is string. In 19th line, str contains the hello, which is already a string, so there will be no such use of using this to string function with this value str. Now next 996 line, the value is bool is equal to true, which is a boolean value. In when I will use this to string function with the boolean value, it will convert true in like this true in the string format. With the array when I will use to string function, the output which we will get is like this 1 comma 2 comma 3. So with the examples, I have also written the output with that. So in 102th line, there is a variable which is date, which is here you can see I have used one class which is a date class, which is a constructor actually. So I will discuss this date class afterward, date class and other classes afterward. But right now you just have to understand date will gives me, it is inbuilt constructor which provides me the actual date, like this Saturday, today Saturday, July 26 2024. So this will give me the real time date whenever I will use this date function. So right now here you can see when I will use two string function with that date function, it will gives me the given below output Saturday, July 26. This this is the not the current time, because this is the output which I have written here is at that time when I have written these lines. So next is the 105th line. You can see with the object also we can I can use this two string function. Two string function is very important function. You just have to remember. So in 105th line you can see this is the object. So with the object, when we will use this two string function, it will gives me this line like this object. Okay, so this thing you have to remember. Now next is let's say I created one object which is a person object, and inside the person, the object is the first name is John, last name is Doe, and age is 30, and next is two string function with the value which is again a function. टू स्ट्रिंग फंक्शन भी मेरी एक की है जो जिसकी वैल्यू एक खुद एक फंक्शन है। ठीक है, तो ये देखना है। तो जब हम इसको एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे 170th लाइन में, लाइक पर्सन डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग, तो पर्सन इज अ ऑब्जेक्ट एंड टू स्ट्रिंग इज ऑलरेडी अ की with the value which is actually a function. So when I will run the line 170, so line which will be printed will be John Doe is 13 years old, because John is this dot first name is actually the value John, and this dot last name is actually the value Doe, and this dot age is 30. So that's why we are getting this answer, which is John is 30 years old. So this is how string function can be used with different types of data types, like with numbers, with a string, with boolean, like this. Now next is triple dot spread operator. So let's say the variable is sen with the value hello. So let's say I have to separate this string in the form of array, which each letter out of which each letter of that string is a value of the array. So how I can do it? I can do like this. I have to create an array with this, like triple dot, and if I will write this sen, which is actually the hello. So it will convert this hello string in the form of array, with each array value is a letter of that string. So when I will console.log chars, I will get the output like this, HELLO. This is how this will work. Now next is the split. So when I will execute, here you can see 127th line, variable is CSV, and inside that variable there is a string 1 comma 2 comma 3. So let's say if I want to separate this uh, 1, 2, and 3 on the behalf of this comma. So how can I can do it? I can at that time I can use this dot split function with the separator comma. I think dot split function I've covered. So with the comma, it will separate the uh, separate my string and the value of that string in the form of array values like this. With each value has its own index value, like one will be have zero, one will be at zeroth index, two will be at 1th index, and three will be at 2th index. So it will return in the form of array. So these are the important functions related to the string. So string I have covered. Now next is arrays. Now I am moving further towards the arrays. I think I have closed the studio. So these are the important functions related to arrays. Firstly, we will see what are the definition of array. So in JavaScript, array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. If you have a, wait a minute, if you have a list of items, you can store them in an array. Like if you have more than one items, you need to store in a single variable. Then at that time, you can use the concept of array. In JavaScript, arrays are used to store the ordered collection of data with the zero based indexing. So there are the two ways to create an array. The ways to create an array, the first way is by using an array literal. Array literal is just like this symbol, like uh, uh, like this symbol. So this is a array literal. This symbol is a array literal. Here you can see this big brackets. So this with this sign you can create the array like this. In fourth line you can see const array with the values. In JavaScript, I want to tell you, you have to note this point. In JavaScript, array is a heterogeneous type, which means it is not necessary that if the array initially the first value of the array is of number type, then another value is necessary to be a number type. This is not a mandatory condition. There can be a heterogeneous type, which means if one value is number, then another can be boolean also, another can be string also. This is possible in JavaScript. So this is how you can create the array with the help of array literal. And next way is by using the array constructor. We can also create the array with the help of this constructor, which is the array, like with the new keyword array, and this will create the empty array. This is how you can create a array in JavaScript. Now next is important basic functions and methods over the array. So these are the important methods from here, like push, pop, shift, and shift. I will not spend more time on these basic functions. I will just give you the small, important things out of it. So first one is the first one is push function. So push function. Here you can see I have declared one function which is a example of function is push example. And in 14th line, I am passing first parameter is array and next is 4. So the main right now my main motto is I want to insert this value 4 inside this array 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I will use this push function. So array will move to ARR and 4 is moves to element. And when the 11th line will execute ARR dot push element, so it will push the element 4 inside the array. And when 12th line will execute, the final output will be 1, 2, 3, 4 in the form of array. So I don't think so. I have to execute this. So this is so similarly like push, whose working is to add the element in the array in the existing array. Like this pop, working of pop is to just pop out, which means delete the element from the existing array from the last. So this is the array of this is the working of pop function. I will run this so it will be clear for you. So when I will run these codes, here you can see uh, original array is 1, 2, 3, and when this line will execute array dot push with the element, then fourth will be added to this. And after adding four, hmm, let's say in the pop example, when I pass this 1, 2, 3 array, so when this line will execute line number 13, the final array which will get will be 1 and 2, 3 will be popped out from there. So this is the very basic how push and pop work. Now next is shift. So working of shift, I will show you shift and shift both. Control C. When I will run this code, here you can see what is the difference between the shift and shift. So shift command, the main working of the shift, sorry, I'm not, this is not a command, this is function. The working of the shift function is to just pop out the zeroth index value from the to the it will be just popped out the zeroth index value from the array. Let's say the array is passed 1, 2, 3. Then when will but sorry, when 1, 2, 3 will be passed, which is an array, and when fifth line will execute, means the when the function will work in this array, the zeroth index value, which is actually a 1, it will be popped out. So here you can see after shifting, this will be get this the result which we will get 2, 3. 1 will be popped out. So working of shift function is to just to pop out a single element from the zeroth index. Okay, and the next one is unshift element. So similarly, like push will be the working of push is to add the element to the array at the last. Similarly, unshift function is also used to add the element, but it will add the element at the first index. Like if the array is 1, 2, 3, and the element which I have to add is 0. So when this line will be executed, line number 14, we will get this result 0th 1 0 at the first index 0th index and next 1 2 3 in the first second and third index. So this is basic the working of shift and unshift function, this unshift function and this shift function. Now next is concat. So concat is just to concat function is just to concat the two arrays and give and provide us with the new array. So here you can see in 50th line, first array is 1, 2, 3, and another array is 4, 5, 6. These two arrays are moved to array 1 and array 2. And when 47th line will execute, uh, this will combine these two arrays, and we will get, wait a minute, and we will get the combination of both the arrays. Like, when I will run this code, here you can see two arrays are 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And when this fifth line will execute, we will get this whole array from 1 to 6th element in the array 3, in this variable array 3. And we just print out that variable in 6th line. So this is how concat function is working in the array. Now next function is for each function. So for each function is just another way to traverse the array like this. Uh, Firstly, here you can see in 16th line, I have created one function which is for each example. And in this function, I have passed this array 1, 2, and 3. So 54th line is just printing the original array. And here you can see this is for each is actually a callback function, which means uh, when I have applied this for each function in this array variable. So working of for each function is just iterating over or traversing over each element over the past array. Like in this case, the array is 1, 2, 3. So it will first move to 1 zeroth index position, and then again one index, and then again further to second index. Similarly, this will this the value of that is passed to this item, and the index value of that particular element is passed to that index. So when I will console.log this 57th line, so here you can see when I will run this code, so this is with the desired result. So when I will run this code, here you can see with the array 1 to 3, it will giving me with its it will giving me the answer with its value and with that index. So this is how the working of for each function will working with the array. So this is very important. You have to memorize this. This is important. For each is important. Next is map and filter. Map and filter I will not cover today because this is the part of advanced JS map and filter function. When I will cover the async nature of JavaScript like promises and async await, the promises async event, and then at that time I will cover this map and filter function. So now next is I move to my presentation. So I've also included the same. Wait a minute. The functions which I have explained till now in array and string, I have included the very good example in my slide. So here you can refer this example whenever you want to get any topic. Like here I have written what this function will do, like little theory about those functions. And here one example. Like in second line, here you can see with the example array numbers. I have used all these functions with this same numbers array. So here you can refer this. These all push function, pop function, shift and shift. So here you can refer all this. Slice, what is the working of slice, concat, join, reverse, sort, index of, lost index of is array. So these all you can see. Now next is objects. Rudransh, I am having time right now, or I can cover this object further in my future presentation.
You have 5 minutes to cover whatever you want to cover it.
Okay, so as I am having 5 minutes, I will just conclude with what are the definition of objects. So next topic is what are objects. So object in JavaScript, wait a minute. Objects are the fundamental constructs used to store a collection of data and more complex entities. They are the often compared to real world objects because they encapsulate both properties, attributes, and data behaviors like methods of function. So wait a minute, I will show you what objects are. So here you can see in 22nd to 26th line, here I have created one object, which is firstly I will tell you objects are always inside this curly braces. So this is a literal which is used for creating the object. So here I have created one object inside these curly braces, which is this with the keys. With the keys are key 1, key 2, and key 3, and the value which is mapped to that particular keys are value 1, value 2, and value 3. So this is a sample object I have created. And in 20th line, I have defined one function which is the object methods, and I'm passing this whole object inside this function object methods. So I will discuss it further. So this is the way. Now we will see different ways of defining the JS objects. So these are the four ways how you can define the objects in JavaScript. The one is object by using object literal. Next is by using new object constructor, and third is by using the constructor function, and the fourth way is using classes or the ES6 syntax. Now next is first way is by using an object literal like this. Example one, here you can see I have created one object which is person one with the keys are first name, last name, age, and eye color, and with the values are Keshavasti 21 and eye color is black. So when I will execute the line number 9, like console.log person one, the output value which I will get like this is from you can see here you can see from 12 to 17th line I will get this out with the first name as Keshav, last name object, age and time. So this is the example on how you can create an object using the object literal. This is the example to your here you can see. Here you can see in like Huh. In 23rd line, I have created an empty object which is a person two. And when I will execute the 24th line, I will get the output like this with that's the output is empty object. So from 26th and 27th line, I have used the I have what I have to say. I have add one key with the value like in person two. Initially, the person two is empty object, but when the 26th line will execute, it when the 27th line will execute, uh, it will what I have to say. It will add one key which is first name with the value Rudrans inside that person two object. And the another way to add the key value is like this. In 20th line, 27th line, you can see this is another way. Like in person to object, there is a key which is last name and with the value like Tiwari. So this is the another way. This is the another way how you can add the key value to the or to the object. To 28th and 29th line is the same. So when the 31st line will execute, the output which I will get is like this. First name is Rudras, last name is Tiwari, age is 20, and eye color is brown. So here in this example, I just want to tell you that initially the person to object is empty. And but when the lines are executed from 26th to 29th line, new keys and values are added to inside that empty objects. So this is the answer which I get. So these are the two ways how you can create the object by using object literal and how you can insert the values inside the object by these two methods. Now wait a minute. Now next is by using the new object constructor. So this is a built-in constructor which is an object constructor. So by this way also you can create an empty object like this. Let percentage new object, and this will create an empty object. And when 48 to 51st line will execute, this will add some new keys and values inside that object. And when 53rd line will be executed, we will get the output which I have shown here from 56 to 61st line. So this is another example how you can create a new object using a object constructor. Now next way to create a new is to create a
Keshav, 1 minute
object is
left.
by okay. So next way is used to create a uh, object is by this using a constructor function. So here you can see I have defined one function which is a function person with the value with the parameters as first, last, age, and I. And here I have used these values. So when 74th line will execute, like const p1 is equal to new person. Here person is a person is an object with the values John, Doe, 50, and blue. So these all values are moved to my these parameters which are formal parameters. And here when I will console.log p1, so the output which I will get is like this. Person with the object values are person name John, last name like this. And when this with the new values, when I will execute 75th line with the new values like Johnny D40 with purple. So this when I will console.log p2, so this how we will get the object in return when the 75th line will execute. Now next is by using the classes. By using classes also we can create a object. So there is a class which is a book and with the constructor this title and author. And another method is also there which is a read method inside this book class. So I will not cover these classes right now, but try to be cooperate with me. Now when I will execute this 12th line, let say book is equal to new book with the values 1984 and George Orwell. So these two values are passed inside the constructor because during the creation of object, constructor will be called. So these 1984 is passed to the title and George Orwell is passed to the author. And in return, when I will wait a minute. So when these 14th, 15th, and 16th lines will execute, I will show you uh, how I will get the output. Wait a minute. I will show you afterwards in my future presentation. Because I think so I've written that, but I'm not getting that example right now, which is already written. So I will cover this further because due to the lack of time. So this much for today by my side. So thank you. If anyone is having any doubt, then he or she can ask.
I have a doubt.
What?
Yes, here write a like declare a variable which stored a string.
Okay. Yes.
If I want like in the next line you write console.log
Hmm.
str dot
Console dot str dot
index of
index index of
w
index of
w.
is okay. So what is the problem? Because W is not existing in my string, so
Capital
it
W.
will give me the okay, capital W. It will giving me the answer 6 because W is in the sixth index. From here, if you will count, like H is in zeroth index, 0, E will be in 1, L will be in 2, another L will be in 3, 4, O will be in 4, space will be in fifth, and W is in sixth index. So that's why it will be giving me the sixth value of that
Okay.
W.
Okay. Done.
Anything else? If I will not get any character which is there in the string, then at that time I will get that index value, which is which means like अगर मैं कोई ऐसा कैरेक्टर पास करता हूँ जो कि मेरी स्ट्रिंग में अवेलेबल नहीं है उसकी इंडेक्स वैल्यू, तो मुझे एक वो ऐसा इंडेक्स रिटर्न करके देगा जिससे मेरी कभी एरे की ट्रैवर्सिंग स्टार्ट ही नहीं होती है, लाइक -1। तो मेरी कभी भी स्ट्रिंग में या एरे में अगर हम कोई ऐसा लिटरल या कैरेक्टर फाइंड करने की
क्योंकि
कोशिश कर
अगर
रहे हैं जो कि
पाइथन
एग्जिस्ट
होगा तो -1 से भी हो जाएगा.
In this, yes, yes, you are right. Because in case of Python, if there is also a concept of negative indexing from right to left. Yes.
Uh,
So that's any other doubt?
no doubt.
This is for today by my side. Thank you. Now, Shreyas, you can start with your presentation for today.
तुम So, Rudran, shall we start the recording?
Yes, yes, you can start. Your screen is visible also, and your audio is also clear. You can start.
Okay, okay. Thanks. In the last session, we have discussed about some callback functions in JavaScript, and we have seen. I also told you about how to use some callbacks by using async await. So, in the next session, we will be using this async await more probably again and again. But today, we will be starting a new set of concepts, and the although it is a part of the callback functions only, but we will be see that how to call back how to use a callback in more in some different kinds of functions, because we have some different situation in our code bases, and we have to understand that where we can use callbacks, or what is the use of these callback functions, or where we can remove, or where we can delete, or where we can iterate some, if you want to iterate something, some array or something like that. If it is given to us, then how we can do all those things. So let's start up with the session immediately. So here in this code, I it is a kind of a code that contains an array. So in my JavaScript tags, I've enclosed an array and an array is named as Vedant. The and this Vedant array of Vedant has stored some numerals or some numbers, and these numbers are like 8 1 0 7 9 8 6 9 5. Okay, so but I'm creating some another variable. There I'm storing that there I'm storing, or I'm calling a kind of a function that uh, that I want to remove zeros from over here, and removing zero from above array, if it and I want to remove zero from the above array. So it is very we can say easy to remove a zero from above array. But here we will be analyzing that how while using a callback function, how we can do the same thing. For example, see, I have created one array as Vedant, as you can see over there, and it is containing some numbers also. But here, if I want to remove the zero over here, what will be the second step? Uh, I have to call remove negative with the callback. For example, first I have, and there I can remove zero with the callback. So for example, I have to create another sort of you can say variable where I'm storing this command. So you can, although this is not a proper command line, but you can take it up as a command, or you can take it up as a you can say function. Although this haven't created any function over there. So there I have stored the name of an array. See, if I'm creating an array as Vedant. You can create an array as any number and any variable. It doesn't matter. But you can take it as ABC, XYZ, and it's not a big deal. But as I'm seeing like that, if a person has named this Vedant, he has an error in this phone number, so I want to while using my code, I want to remove that sort of error. So all this is my task to carry it out. So here I'm moving. So here I'm calling it with remove zero. There I and there on those brackets, I passed up a parameter. Firstly I have to pass up my array. There where I'm passing my array, in brackets I have to give up a parameter. See, that is under the brackets. There I can give up any kind of a parameter. For example, x, y, z. But here, as you can see in the but here, as you can see in the you can say code itself. Here I am passing up the parameter as v, and first I I'm passing up the array. Then I'm passing up the parameter. The name of the parameter is v. I'm closing those parameter in the brackets. Okay, no problem has been there. It's all right. Then I'm using an arrow function. So arrow function, basically I haven't thought about the arrow function, but arrow function simply has for example, if you want to sum up, if you are calculating the sum of an array, or it is mostly used in your, you can say, callbacks also, and when there is the concept of array has been introduced. So arrow functions is a popular function. It helps us to reduce the complexity of the code even, and you can write your code with with the arrow functions, and there you don't have to write many logics over there. So it's arrow, and compiler takes an arrow function in JavaScript compiler. It takes arrow function very smoothly also. Okay, so there is no problem. So while passing up the parameter, see, parameter is very essential over there. So while passing up the parameter and indicating it with the help of a arrow function in the second line, then you have to write up the logic, and that logic will contain with that and logic, and you have to write the logic while using that parameter. For example, if you're writing your logic, see what is the logic over there. For example, I wanted to remove all the zeros over there. So in an array. So it's a very simple sort of a thing, that if I want to remove zero over there, so I will be taking I want to take some positive numbers in my array. So I want to store some positive numbers in my array. So where I can use up the logic as v can be greater than 0. There I can pass up the logic as v can be greater than 0, obviously. So if v as x, y, z is greater than 0, there is no problem over there. So I can pass up that logic and I can simply run up with my problem. Okay, there's no problem. I can simply run up with my code. So v is greater than 0. So the numbers that those are greater than 0 are like see are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here you can see up in the array that 88107 98695. So the numbers those who are greater than 0 will be represented. Okay. So I'm passing up the so I'm simply passing up this I'm simply writing up this logic. But we have to remember this thing. If we are writing this logic, we have to remember that we have to use that parameter as well. For example, I'm passing up the parameter as v, but here I'm you can say passing up the parameter as v, but I'm implementing my logic with the help of any other parameter. So that represents very unexperienced coder, a property of an unexperienced coder. That if you are taking some you are making a blunder mistake because it doesn't require. So you have to understand this thing very properly. That if you're passing up a if you want to applying some logic over there, you have if you have to pass up with that parameter. Okay, so this has been understood. So moving up to the third line, the third line is very simple. I'm using the DOM property over there, and in my inner HTML, I'm passing the because I want to display the logic over there. So I'm passing. I will not be calling up my the name of an array. I will be calling that I've created over there. So I'm simply passing the value of Shukla because because in Shukla I have stored that logic. Or you can simply say at Shukla I'm storing a basic of function. Okay, say I'm in Shukla I haven't created the function over there, but I'm simply storing the logic of a function at Shukla. So it is so I always be calling up Shukla in my inner HTML part. It's never be Vedant. Then moving up towards the next part, that is then there we actually removing the those negative. Okay, so okay, so I'm resuming up with my part that I was saying that for let me okay. So I was saying that I was saying the thing that if if I'm creating one function that is removing zero, if I'm creating the function as removing zero, because now my so it has been see it has been initialized as with the help of three steps. First, I'm creating an array. Then I'm calling the those. Then I'm calling with the help of a callback function where I'm creating one another variable there where I have to store the logic of the function. And the third line in the DOM part, I have to execute that thing with and at my inner with my inner HTML part. And at my inner HTML part, I will be storing up the another variable as Shukla. So these are the three very essential steps, or you can say it's a compulsory steps that are required to follow up this function to carry out this for carry out this to carry out this result. then I'm creating one another function that is removing 0. So this is the main logic, main function. So if you are understanding about some recursion, there in what we do in recursion, we take up a recursive call over there in recursion. If you have a little bit idea of recursion, so and Keshav was also telling you about some recursion in last session, if I remember. So there you take as a negative, you can say first you declaring some in the global scope, then you are moving to
When
the
one
local
function
local
call
scope.
itself, when
Yes,
a one
function is
function call
calling
itself,
itself. So it is
yeah, yeah.
so yes, obviously, Keshav, you are right. It's very, you can say, similar to that part. So again, in JavaScript. Again, we are creating one remove 0, a function that is named as remove 0, because see, why I'm creating that function as remove 0 over there, because at Shukla I was storing that function at the name of a function that is remove 0. So it is necessary to understand that thing, that if you're storing remove 0, we have to create that function also. Or you can say, if I'm calling up that function, we have to create the function. It's just not like that you're storing, you're creating the name of a function, and you're not initializing that function at last. It is very essential in the third step, that is that you're removing 0. There you're passing up the two parameters over there, that is number and callback. And why we are doing that, let's check up over there. That, see, callback is something that you understand about, that why we use callback, because we have to use callback, so we are using callback over there. But if you talk about a name, and name, if you remember about, at name is a kind of a array. At name, we are declaring a name over there. So when we are declaring the name over there, at name, we are creating one array. You can say it's an empty array over there. You can say another variable over there. So why we are doing this? Let's check up over there. So in the third line, if you see, we are using for each loop. So, and there we are implementing like that for const v of number. So we want to iterate like at numbers. See, for example, if you're taking up any pointer over there, or you can say you're simply iterating with the help of for each loop. So it will be iterating at each index, that if that zero number has been present over there or not. And if you understand a little bit about iteration also, that how the iteration works, and if we really traverse it uh, by, you can say, or try in the code, so you can easily get up over there, that it will iterate the whole array, and then it will be removing up that zero over there from it. So if it is removing that zero from it, and it will be storing up the simple result displaying at the output screen. So so what happens over there? So why it is taking at number, it's like, because we have passed the parameter of number. Okay, so it will be iterating, with that number. And we have taken, because we have taken some integers of, obviously, so we are taking the number over there. And the second thing is that, if you check up that parameter of v is the parameter that we have initialized, that removing 0 function. Okay, no problem is there. So no problem is there. So that v is also very, so obviously we will be iterating in a for each loop with the help of v. So we will not be taking any at okay, say we will be not taking any other, you can say, concept, or we will not taking any other parameter. So if you're taking any other parameter, or using any other sort of value, it will be totally wrong, and your result will not be displayed as usual. All the output still will get blank. Then we are simply checking in the if loop. Then we are using a if loop, and if in our callback, there we are passing a small parameter of v, and there we are using name dot push. So because we want to push up the v over there, obviously. So then you are returning the name, and there you can see your number, the output that you will be getting over there. will be resulting it as 8817999695. That will be getting removed. So the logic is totally simple. It's not a big deal, but you have to understand the calling of a function, or a call of a function, or how the function has been working over there. So so let's revisit over there that what we were actually doing. First, second, third steps are very clear to you. In the again, if I'm saying that why have I have taken why I have created another empty array, uh, because I wanted to push the parameter of v at that another array that I have created over there. I've created, see, although I've created an array that has been containing the inputs, or you can say that are literally containing that some test cases over there, where that has an input over there. For traversing those inputs, okay, we have used the parameter. We are using that for loop and iterate, and there it is for each loop, and it is iterating line by line. Okay, so sorry, index by index, and with the help of that parameter v that I passed over there. Okay, and parameter, and it is very parameter independent. You can say JavaScript is it's totally parameter independent. You can use up that at any, you can use up at any parameter over there. It's not a big deal. And again, if you using your if loop, so at if you're checking, it's checking the condition of callback. So because you're passing the parameter of callback, see, callback is pass up the parameter because we have to use a callback function over there. So callback is simply a function also, but I will be preferably because but I will always prefer to use callback at the part of callback, because if you're not using callback for calling up, see, callback is a predefined function always. So it sometimes user, what does your user do? It is not using callback over there, so it will not it can give error. So it is preferably to use callback as always. So use callback at your if condition, because at if condition it is showing you that callback, that what kind of function it wanted to call. Okay, so callback has been first I'm using callback, and there I'm passing up that parameter of v, because I have add my array. You can see in Shukla I'm passing up the v, and it is also iterating towards at v. So we always passing up that parameter that we have taken with the help of an arrow function, and because basically we have introduced the logic at v, the actual logic has been implemented at v only. Okay, there's no problem over there. And then we are closing the brackets, and and then we have to push and see actually what happens. We have iterated over there. Then we have to you can say store up those values at another piece of array to reduce the complexity, and to reduce any error that at output screen it will be getting showing smoothly. So we are using a push operator over there, with the help of push, or you can say we are using a push function over there. So because we wanted to push at another array that has been declared as name, so that in name array I'm pushing up that parameter, and it will be the result will be displayed. Although we have implemented the logic, is no problem, but for displaying the result or checking the result, we have to use name dot push v, and push that is a actual parameter, because it is working under the callback function. It is working under the callback function. See, because you can see over there, if you're not understanding like that, that we have returned name also, because we are returning the name also. So because we want to return the actual, because we want to return the actual, you can say uh, numbers over there, that are my output or my final test case. Okay, so name dot push v is very essential. That is working under the callback. So callback is working. So they are working as a callback. They are the one, those who are that are helping the callback to check up the actual call, and put up the call on the output. So that was the whole logic. So if we look up this code is obviously it is always same. the whole code is same, but I have you can say change the logic. I did some changements in the logic, because my logic here I have I'm using something like that I'm using up that. See, the whole function is same, the whole code base is always same. But here, what is happening over there? I implemented the logic it as that I in my at my array. See, Vedant is my actual array always. See, if you're looking up here also and here also, Vedant will be my actual array, or the actual array where I'm storing my test cases, or you can say where I'm storing my input numbers. So that Vedant is my input array and name is my output array. So Vedant is storing my input numbers, and name will be storing up my output, my result or my test cases. Okay, there's no problem over there. So I'm implementing the another sort of logic. There I want to display that in my whole array at indexing, I'm using a logic that eight will. So it's also very simple logic. I do not want any eight over there. So if you check up the frequency of eights, there are three times eight are coming, and I want that I just want to remove eight from my array. So you can see, if you can check up the frequency. If you are if you are doing the frequency count, there are three times eight are coming, and I do not want it in three times also it could be there. So if you are removing like that, so we can see 107 and 699695. So eight were getting removed, and these numbers were getting stored at my final result of my final array. So uh, always remember this thing, that whenever you are doing this, or whenever you are, you can say, creating a final array, creating a final function call. At that final function call, callback is always important. See, you're using a callback also, and under that you're using that logic, that name, you are passing up that condition, and to check up that condition you are using name dot push and that parameter as b. But always check up that thing, that you are also creating one other sort of array that is storing your actual output. So it is very important. Um, and one thing more that I want to tell you, that see here it has been writing remove zero. My function was I haven't changed the name of the function. So I haven't changed the name of the function, that is remove zero. So it is always preferable to change the name of the. Although I haven't changed it, it's you can say, but I want to show you, because I wanted you people to show that the condition the condition will work as usual. There is no problem. But when there are a large complex piece of code, because I just wanted to show you the logic, the working, and the result. Okay, but it's if you are implementing in your own editor, it's always preferable to change the name of the function like that. I have created name of the function remove zero, but here we are implementing the logic that I want number of eights to be get removed. So it is not matching up with the function. So you can write it as remove eight with using callbacks. Remove eight using callbacks, and always uh, make up the letter capital. So see, it is a way of writing a code that looks you can say beautiful. Okay, it's increases the beauty of the code. Okay, so. And yes, always return the name of the third array, that is the second array where you're storing the output. So it's very important. Okay, so we are winding up this thing. So let's see this. This is a this code simply it's a very, you can say, unique piece of code. Actually, what is happening over here? If you can see over here, here it has been implementing the output. It wants to implement the output as it want to get the output with the help of a, and a has in brackets and nothing has been stored over there. So if anyone wants to guess up the output, so I'm giving some seconds to guess up the output.
NaN.
Error. I think error will be there.
Actually, what is happening? Actually, what is the actual logic of this output is, um, it will be working differently in the different browsers. So I'm sorry, it is NaN will not be there. It's never be there. NaN NaN cannot be there. And if you talk about
It will
error,
be
so it's
error.
not an
I think,
error. No,
I think
Keshav,
this
I
is
think it's
the
error will. Yes,
this
yes.
is. Can you please tell me? This is reserved keyword in JavaScript, DHIS or not? I'm not sure.
See, actually, this is a reserved keyword always, but in terms of object-oriented programming. But apart from object-oriented programming, this is something. It is calling. It is also reserved, but here it is not. But in this piece of code, it is not reserved like that. Actually, what happens? Let me tell you. Uh, the, there are there's one concept that is known as browser object model, BOM, DOM and BOM. Okay, document object model and browser object model. So in that browser object model, the output will be different, and in Node.js, so it is a environment dependent. So output will be environment dependent. And apart from a browser, and if you check up that Node.js environment at Node.js, output will be different. So in both the scenarios, output will be different. So first, talk about so first, if we discuss at Node.js, in Node.js, the output will be as global. It will be showing up a global. And at browser, and if you talk about in browser object model, the output will be the window. So it is typical to understand that what is happening, it's window, or what is window and what is, you can say, global. Actually, if you see that what A wants to print over here, see A first, we have declared an A. A has been declared over there. It's not a problem with the help of using arrow functions. But A over here, it is, you can say, it is working as a global logic. It is working as globally over there. So at, you can say, they might ask you this kind of typical outputs in final rounds, that what is functioning of A. See A, because A is working as a global output, no problem. So it is a global variable in Node.js environment. But if you actually, as you were saying, Keshav, it was an error. So it is not an error. It will be simply, if you practically, it will be simply printed as small brackets, curly braces with nothing printed over there. And in curly braces, that nothing will be printed over there. And if you talk about it was the part of the Node.js. And if you talk about in Windows, there will be simply as printed like braces, and inside braces, dot, triple dots, and A. So although triple dot is representing, also known as a spread of operator, but it is not like that. So and dot, it is, and A will be coming. So actually, it is a game of a, you can say, browser object model. Although you haven't studied about browser object model, but yes, it is simply, if someone is asking you, you can simply tell it like that. It is checking about global variable. So it is displaying. So on both the result, it is displaying up the global variable. Actually, don't confuse. In both the cases, in case one, that is browser, in case two, in Node.js, it will be displaying up the global. But the way of calling a global is different in browser object model. It will in browser object model, we call it as window. There we call it as window. Okay. So and here in Node.js, globally is as call up as global only. Okay. So and sometimes it has been asked, and see, and if you're talking about this, what is this? And see, this has been used with the help of an arrow function. So this function, in object oriented, it is a constructor part. We use this obviously. Also, it is a predefined. Yes, it was predefined in JavaScript. But here it will be showing that you have to declare it at a global variable. So it is a simple logic over there. And the thing is, and one thing more to, because it is a concept of binding. it is a concept of binding that comes in browser adapted model. So this is a part of binding. So this is getting binded over there. And if you and if we are discussing about in Node.js, for example, if we are scrolling a Globber, if we are talking about Globber, so there are always using global variables is not a very uh, you can say it's not a very smooth thing. So if you want your code base to look if you want to you can say again debugging your code base, so while using global variable, it will be very complex and it can give error at sometimes. So it is always recommended to not to use global. Instead global, see, it is not prohibited at every scenario, but when there is a large code base, not using global variable, it makes the code very complex to check out. So while using that part, you can there is one thing that is known as IIFP, that is like uh, it is like invoked function expressions. So immediate invoked expression functions. Let me say it once again. Immediately invoked expression functions. Likewise, what is immediately invoked expression functions are something uh, that helps us to import some modules. So while importing some modules, you cannot use global variables. So you can prohibit from using global variables. So it is a more deeper part of using some more. So this is a deeper part of global variable. So, but the logic of this output is like that. So at different environment, it will be showing the different outputs because it is dependent upon an arrow function and this function. And in the next session, I will be telling you about what is the concept of what is actual concept of binding and arrow functions, because we are in a shortage of time. So what is the actual concept of arrow function and binding? So actually, whole concept is dependent upon arrow function and binding. So as we have not studied about browser object model, so I will be explaining you about more that part, and I think you will be understanding it as more, you can say, understanding that part as deeply, or enough that you can answer it anyway. So although I've
Vedant,
completed
5
up with
minutes
my
left.
session, yes, I have completed up with my session. So what is a NaN property? NaN is not a number property in JavaScript. NaN it is a very useful property. For example, if you are moving up with the help of a data validation, or if you are using up with the data validation, or you are using you want to debug something at your uh, or you are using or you want to use an error handling concept, or you want to use error handling concept. So NaN property is very useful is that in that. So what is the full form of array? NaN? NaN is not a number. So actually, for example, if you when you are using console.log and you are using the type of operator over there, so it will be showing you as a number. But for example, if you're using it like that, 0 divided by 0, what is this? So NaN property can be used over. Is always so it will be showing us NaN. So it is showing that it is not a number. So NaN property is very useful in at that scenario. For example, it has been implemented at many actual functions or many square root functions. Because when you are using NaN, you can debug at many you can debug your error at many cases. So so that is the logic of NaN. And rest of the things I have you can say I have already told you. One thing that I want to tell you new, that is find if you are finding the maximum, if you want to finding a maximum number in an array, you can use this one property known as accumulator property. What is this accumulator property? Actually, accumulator has been used with the help of reduce function. It is okay. It has been used with the help of reduce function. So although we are running shortage of time, so I will be covering up this accumulator, reduce, and again and again. So I will be you can say people with this to check up more about this accumulators and reduce function while using it at your main thing is functions at scenarios that the logic of the working of JavaScript. And if we talk about WAR and hosting and other concepts, I have already discussed it earlier. Uh, Prototype chain, I've told you that prototype chain is using JavaScript, not and other languages we use like traditional inheritance. Here we use a prototype chain in JavaScript. Debugger is a tool to help some that is using Mozilla Firefox Chrome to debug some and some at each line of code. For that is a part of a JavaScript. Mostly, obviously, it is used in JavaScript only, and hosting is a part of Let, for example, where you that I was telling you about declaring some global variable or declaring out of scope. So hosting has been used there. So hosting is basically is a you can say it checks the behavior that how it checks the behavior at the compilation phase, and JavaScript is statistically or dynamically type language. All these things you have discussed only. So Rudransh, I have completed it. So that is all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, well, it's good afternoon to each and everyone who is present and watching the video today. And today we'll be beginning with a topic that is related to augmented reality in the gaming field. So now, in the past few videos, we have discussed about augmented reality and virtual reality and what exactly this particular technology means. And today we are moving with another presentation part where we'll be discussing how augmented reality is used in the gaming industry. So let's begin it now. So the introduction part of the augmented reality in gaming industry said that augmented reality is used for attaining different goals in games. For examples, you might have played games where you have to protect your house from super physical creatures or look for hidden things in remote areas. These are prime examples of augmented powered games, and many other follow the trails. Well, in the beginning, when I started this particular topic related to augmented reality and virtual reality, that is AR and VR, since the beginning, I am discussing a particular app and a game that is the Pokemon Go game. So, where I taught you about that a Pokemon Go game is a game where augmented reality and virtual reality both are used, in which artificial environment is created along with the real-time access of the environment. So, well, this particular game has influenced the market when it was introduced in the market field. And since then, it is ruling the augmented reality field in the technology part because that was the first game that was developed by the technology of augmented reality. And that's why nowadays this particular technology is influencing a lot. And this particular technology is now even introduced in gaming field where we individual can access the real-time entity as well as the artificial entity both at a same time, thus creating the game more attractive and interesting for a user to play and look like. Well, now we'll be moving related to the types of augmented reality games. So over the past few years, since augmented reality has started influencing in the market field, uh, augmented reality has even influenced in the gaming field. And since then, it is flourishing in the Indian market or in the world's market. So let's begin with the types of augmented reality games. Now, the first one is the location-based game. So the location-based game utilizes the GPS feature and actual data to overlay content on player real-time environment. These games could be played by searching in-game item in the real time. So now the example which I have given in this particular slide is the Pokemon Go game. So this particular game was introduced in the year 2016, and once it was introduced in the market, it went viral within a few months and a weeks so after its launch. Because this particular game was so much nice and attractive that even a single user who even hasn't played a game any time in his entire life could also play this game easily by the help of augmented reality, because it was not on the game that was restricting the students or or a child to sit at home and play a game, but it was actually influencing a child to roam around, search for the new items in the surrounding and catch Pokemon. So this type of augmented reality game comes under the location based games. Now the second one is the AR sports and puzzle games. So well, this type of AR sports and puzzle games add virtual element to the traditional games such as basketball, football, squash, tennis, etc. Well, the best example for this particular type of game would be MLB Home Run Derby AR. Well, this type of augmented reality game, in this there is a baseball bat which the batter has to swing, and once the batter hits the home run, he has to the batter automatically runs and completes the home run. Well, this particular games create provides real time gaming experience to an individual who is experiencing this particular game or playing this game. So this is the second type of AR virtual reality game. Now the third one is the AR simulation game. Now the AR simulation game is a game that is used for home decoration, virtual aquarium, AR pet simulation. These are the certain games which provide realistic simulation to an individual. The best example for AR simulation game would be Jurassic World Alive. So well, this game is a game which is played with the help of a card. Now there are number of cards which an individual has to buy, and there is a app, and there is a QR which is given on the top of that card. And once by the help of that app, once the player would scan that card, a 3D version of that dinosaur of the Jurassic Park will be created, and there will be a fight between the two dinosaur, which will be one the which will be generated by the help of the cards that will be one of yours and the other one of your friends, and it will give a real time experience, and moreover it looks really attractive when you once play this game. So it is the third type of AR simulation game. Now the fourth one is the multiplayer AR game. So multiplayer or social games allow multiple users to interact and play AR based games. Each player involved handles a characters in game and engage in virtual activity, like Harry Potter Wizard Unite. So in multiplayer AR games, in the previous games which I discussed in the starting, those games were actually developed for a single user. Multiple users cannot interact and play at the same time, but multi-player AR games can even allow an individual, two or more individuals to play a single game at a time. Thus, it will actually inculcate the habit of sharing between among the people. Thus, the best exact game which this particular AR technology is providing is Harry Potter Wizard Unite. Now the fifth one is the AR based education game. So in AR, that is the Dino Mixer AR is the best example for this. So in AR based education games, actually there is a 3D environment which is created by the help of by the mixture of the real environment, and the person will be having a, a entire experience of that 3D avatar, where the person can touch and get the sensation of how exactly the dinosaur would have looked like, what were the types of dinosaur, what were the features with that particular dinosaur was having. So AR educational games are also even flourishing in the market today, and in the upcoming future, AR will completely occupy the gaming industries according to my point of view. So now we'll move on to the next part, that is the popular AR game. So here are the top three popular AR games that an individual can play if he or she wants. The first one is the Pokemon Go game. The second one is the Harry Potter Wizards Unite. And the third one is the Angry Birds augmented reality Isles of Pigs. So these three are the popular AR games which have flourished in the market so far. Now we are moving on to the mobile augmented reality part. So the one of the biggest question that arises when we talk about about game is that every individual does not has that access of a laptop or a desktop, but every individual has a device that is known as a mobile phone. Now the first question that arises when we hear the term that is game is, can a game run on a mobile? And can a augmented reality game run on a mobile? Well, that's the answer to that simple question is yes, because augmented reality games are of different types, and this particular feature of augmented mobile reality in mobile is actually one of the flourishing market in the recent times, and that's why this particular topic has been mentioned in this particular slide. So we'll be starting with the types. The first one is the marker based augmented reality. So let me read out the syntax, and later on with the help of an example I'll discuss about how exactly this works. So when the camera on a mobile device detects a specific image or symbol, digital content is triggered and displayed. Commonly used in advertising, educational materials, this type of augmented reality provides a straightforward way for users to access interact content through everyday items like products, packaging, or printed media. Now the second one is the markless augmented reality. This form does not rely on predetermined makers. Instead, it uses a device sensors to detect the position and orientation on the surface of real time, allowing digital objects to be placed freely in the environment. It is widely used in interior designing, furniture, apps where users can visualize how new items might look like in their own space. Now, the third one is a location-based AR. By utilizing the GPS, compass, and other location data from mobile devices, augmented reality content is activated based on users' geographical location. Application includes navigation aids, where streets, names, and direction can be overlaid directly onto the live view of a street, and gaming, where virtual objects are placed in real-world location. So now, by the help of the examples, we'll discuss all the three types of mobile augmented reality. The first one was the marker-based AR. So what exactly marker-based AR means? Well, marker-based AR is a technology where a person can scan a particular image of an monument, object, or item, whatever the thing may be, and a 3D avatar of that particular object or a 3D model of that particular object will be created. And by the help of that object, 3D model or avatar, the person can get to know about the historical background of that particular thing, or the items and the products and the material which has been used for the creation of that particular item, monuments, or whatever the thing may be. Well, this particular technology was developed in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong has developed an app for tourists. Well, the developers in Hong Kong have developed this a particular feature. They have developed an app for tourists where the tourists can scan a particular image, and by the help of a 3D avatar, they can get the access of the entire information related to that 3D model. Thus, this not only reduces the burden on the people who are the guide, because and even provides more and more information to the tourist who is visiting that particular place. Now, well, the second one is a markless based AR. Well, this particular AR was actually developed by a company that was a global elevator or accelerator company, which used to visualize effort prospective customers. Now, suppose for an example, you are constructing your house and you want to see exactly how your house will look like after you will arrange all your furniture, utensils, or whatever the electronic gadgets you have. How exactly would be the layout of your home? Then, by the help of markless based AR, a 3D avatar of the real world entity will be created, which will be showing you how exactly the space would be there between the furniture, what all places will be occupied. Thus, it will be very beneficial for construction purpose. Suppose if a very big project is given to a metro construction company, then by the help of markless based AR, that particular construction company can look how exactly the places can be used, so that no traffic jam could occur, or the best possible way so that the entire work can be completed. So markless based AR can be very useful at that point of time. Now the third and the last one is the location based AR. Now this particular location based AR was used by Doritos for a campaigning process. Now in this location based AR, map of different cities are created, and in this location based AR, the person has to go in that particular locality and has to search item. And this particular location based AR was even used in the Pokemon Go game, where several maps were being installed in the backend and being stored in the backend data of the game, and the person has to go and find the Pokemons over game. Similar concept was used by Doritos, where the person was given a Dorito packet, and there was a scanner, and once the person scans that packet scanner, the a 3D map was opening with the real-time access, and the person has to carry the Doritos packet. And the larger the amount of the Dorito packets that the person catches, the more and more reward chances increases of that particular individual. Thus, this particular feature of Dorito was flourishing in the market, and the location-based AR was used in this particular process. Well, this was all from my side related to the augmented reality in the gaming field. In the previous presentation, that was the last week, I promised you that I'll be showing you certain videos, but due to certain copyright restrictions, I'm unable to show you those videos. But I'll be providing certain links in the description box, so you can check those videos out there. And you can definitely learn how exactly augmented reality and virtual reality look like over there. Well, this was all from my side. Hope you like this. Thank you.